Good afternoon, everyone. This is Philip Carter from the Independent Gospel Artists Alliance. And of course, we have our conference coming up July the 9th through the 11th in Chesapeake, Virginia. You can log on to www.indiegospelalliance.com and register today. It'll be the best investment, the best decision you've ever made if you've never been to the conference. And if you've been to the conference, just know it is different this year. We have a lot of new people coming, some different topics, and some really concentrated classes on what to do about this streaming business. But the topic of the day is, what do you do when radio rejects your single? Well, the first thing you must understand is that there is no perfect scenario for a single. There are plenty of great songs I've heard that wasn't necessarily rejected by radio, but wasn't embraced by radio either. Just know this, that radio introduces hits, but churches make hits. So you can have a hit song on the radio, but if the people don't carry it after it serves its time on the radio, then it will quickly go away and you'll forget about it. You and I will forget about it. But if you're singing it in church or they're singing it in special programs across the country, then people tend to relive the moment of that song being great. Like, for instance, Total Praise is one of the greatest songs ever written and sang in gospel music industry. Of course, it was written by Richard Smallwood, but Total Praise really became a hit, a mega hit, because we sing it in church. And not only they sing it in church, but they sing it in gospel conferences and workshops all across the world, not just the country. So radio introduces hits, but churches make hits. So you may have a great single, and sometimes radio rejects it. They're like, hey, it's a nice song, but doesn't fit our format. I think in order to really, really understand the rejection of a single, there are so many factors that you must consider. One is the time of the year. Like if it's summertime and you got, and most radio stations are in need of fast songs, and they already have a bunch of slow songs, and you give them another slow song. Maybe they can't pick up that signal at that point because they need fast songs to balance out the slow songs that they already are playing. The other thing you have to consider is that maybe your song is not radio ready. And radio ready just means it wasn't produced well, or it's too long, or it's just not a well-written song, or it's just not catchy. So those are factors you have to take into consideration as well. The other thing you need to take into consideration is that maybe that's not the song that you need to release to the radio. Maybe you didn't seek any advice. You didn't previously send anything to radio people to get their advice. You didn't seek wise counsel. You just made your song up and decided that this was going to be my single, and you want everybody to all of a sudden like it. It's always good to do a test market to determine whether your song has some viability on radio. It may have viability in church, but viability on the radio can sometimes be a different animal. And so what do you do when radio rejects your single? Well, if you have more songs that are already radio ready, maybe you can pitch another song to radio. If it's just a single, and the radio has rejected your single and you want to keep going promoting that single, then take that single and go around and sing it in churches, as many churches as you can, as many venues, karaoke, wherever you can sing that single, and gauge the audience response. And if people like that song, even though it's not being played on the radio, you will win in the end, because people will support you. They'll support your song. They will help you to get the exposure you need. They will invite you to their events, church services, programs, whatever, to sing that single, and probably to sing more songs that you already have in your arsenal as well. So don't be discouraged if radio rejects your single, but consider all the factors. One of the safeguards that you can put in place, as I mentioned before, is to get advice from others before you finish that single, before you finish that single, before you finish that single, before you finish that single. Please don't finish the single, get it mixed, mastered, pressed up with your pretty picture on it, and then you get mad when you find out that what you have done may not be the one. You know, never put all your eggs in one basket. And when you do, it's always good to do more than one song and get people's opinion. Maybe you can give people 3 choices and say, hey, which one of these you think is the single, the strongest song I have? And then make that your single and give it a shot. And just know that in the end, you can have the perfect scenario. You can have the greatest song anybody's ever heard, and people can still reject it. So be encouraged, and press on, and just understand that there is a fan base for everybody. Some of the best and worst, in my opinion, that I've ever heard, all of them had an audience. Every last one of them, even the ones who were terrible, they had an audience. So there's an audience for what you have to offer. You need to find that audience and capitalize off of it. All right, God bless you. Have a great day.